BlackKklansman, directed by Spike Lee, came around about August 10th, if I remember, of 2018. It's a film I finally managed to check out about a week or two earlier. It's an interesting film about a true story about a man who decides to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, which is already crazy enough to start with that he is a black man. And here's what I thought about the movie. So now that we know this film got nominated for Best Picture, I was really curious to check it out again, that I did check out, I think, the other half of the movie for a second time, because honestly, the first time I watched it, I was kind of mixed with it. Not to say that the movie was bad in my first experience, I still loved most of the movie. I'm going to get one thing out of the way. Freaking Kylo Ren, the fact that he's in this movie, by the way, yes, this one, I don't know why I've added this. This guy right here, minus the mask and the creepy hoodie and him being a terrible person, he's actually a good guy for once in this one. He does a fantastic job, and all the other actors too, and actresses. Unfortunately though, do you expect me to remember all their names at this point? It's tradition. I'm sorry. I have the worst brain in the world. But seriously though, everybody did a fantastic job from what I could remember. I always loved the performances. It was such a great goddamn time. And just see the main character and Adam Driver's character sort of have this conflict by the fact that how the hell's a black man gonna enter the KKK? That's like their top enemy. And then he has to try to get them fooled, get any plans by them, what they plan to do, what are their motivations, what are they up to pretty much, what's going on in here. And throughout that whole film, it's just as great in suspense and even fear of, first off, do they know that he's actually Jewish, and do they know that he's not even the person that they're talking to on the phone in the first place. It's crazy, and it's a lot of fun in it, but there's some parts of the movie that I admit is probably my biggest issue with it, that despite it being just from the start of it, that I honestly, like, it's a really damn interesting story, and that's probably the best part of the movie. Just the story itself is just immediately like eye-catching, attention-grabbing. It's like the perfect attention grabber. A black man trying to infiltrate the Klan. What the hell is this? And also that the best part of the film that it's based in the past, in the 70s, so you get this fun about the culture and life that was back then, and the conflict, the rising tensions with what it seemed to be, that I really do appreciate that they do also comment on, that, you know, necessarily, despite also, obviously, like, I don't want to make it sound like right now that, oh, stupid black people, how dare you get mad for being murdered and lynched by psychopaths? Like, no, obviously it's wrong, and it's disgusting. But the crazy part is how many people, specifically in the Black Panther movement that was happening at that time, seem to have this very dark, more cruel, twisted, I guess is the right word, yes, twisted motivations when it came to battling the Klan. And it seems to show that even many people in that movement, that was the first target in the beginning, that they seemed to be going for, the suspicion, and also admittedly corruption in FBI, that was real. That is also awesome that they do talk about. But that they still show that the Black Panther movement wasn't perfect either. That was a big part in the civil rights movement and for black justice. That showed that they also had their own issues, that they seem to be also targeting these crazy things such as race wars, and seem to be getting extremist ideology. Which is one part that I do love about this film, how it handles very well a lot of interesting ideas that were a thing that were going on at the time. And honestly, that even the film, like, obviously, even by the end, which is one part I'll admit, despite me, the clear message of the film was going for this, and I do appreciate it, but for me, it was kind of, like, easily just thrown at you, to just not think too much about it. How a lot of the film is meant to also, you know, reflect a lot of the tensions and things that are going around this time immediately in the present day, which just shows, you know, no matter how far in time you are, you're never truly, things really don't change. It's just the way they're told and the styles they're put in. Which, wow, that was deep for me. At least I said something cool for once. But yeah, that's a lot of the film. But the big problem with it is that, what I was getting to is that a lot of times in the movie, specifically when it comes to the editing and the choices of stylized filmmaking, which this film does a lot very well. There's some shots that I absolutely freaking love in this movie, especially when, you know, characters are talking with each other, they're getting information in, or supposed to be influenced by other people talking, so some with more cruel intentions, or twisted ones, or ones that are, you know, meant to influence them with hope and fighting, especially in the Black Panther movement and the Klan stuff. There's a lot of cool ways that they tell the stories and show how these characters are reacting to it, I guess is the most, yeah, the most logical way I can explain it. But a lot of it sometimes randomly when a lot of characters are talking. For example, one of the relationships that build is one the cop main character in the movie with one of the girls that he seems to be falling in love with, who's part of the Black Panther movement. When they're like, there's one scene that they just start talking about movies, which I get it. It's a perfect way to bond, and it's funny and all, because they're talking about how the girl seems to think that anything that involves a black person, seen in this extreme way, that, oh, if they put it in a way that they don't like, it seems to be racist and offensive offensive and have a more malicious intent, and he's like thinking, no, come on, they're cool and it's funny, and that's not the whole point. Two different ideologies. And then strangely, it has this really weird edit where it's just like I feel like I was watching a YouTube video for a sec, honestly, that I get what they were going for, because they're also trying to educate on a lot of stuff that was happening in the past, but then like all of a sudden, stuff like that would happen, and the actual pictures and posters or like clips of the movie would show up, and for me that really conflicts with what I'm watching, because it's like, wait, it feels like what I said about the ending of the movie, where it's supposedly like, you know, the whole movie's meant to also reflect on our present time and the conflict we're going through. It almost makes it too obvious, and it's like, okay, I can think for myself, like I know what you're talking about. Like I feel like the movie's almost thinking that the audience isn't intelligent enough to understand what they're talking about, and needs, you know, obvious examples and representation of their conversations. It's really weird. I know I make it sound like really complicated, but when you watch the movie, you'll get what I'm talking about. But pretty much, you just end it with the conclusion. BlackKklansman was an amazing film that tackles some really incredible stuff about the time, with a damn amazing story, with some little mistakes with the editing fails that I did not enjoy, but still a damn amazing experience all the way around. Really interesting, and honestly, the movie is also hilarious, which I forgot to mention, an obvious part of it. This movie is also meant to be a comedy. This movie is going to keep you laughing throughout the whole way, because the shit that they go through, the story is insane, and that's probably the best part of the movie. But everything else is still more than strong enough and offers a whole damn good experience. I'm going to give BlackKklansman a 9 out of 10. It was a damn amazing movie, and honestly, I want to go watch it again. I already saw it twice, and you know, I'm going to go watch it a third time, maybe once I get home. Or my other home. It's a long story. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and have a good night. See you guys.